Well, here we are at the Unregulated Leadership Podcast. We have our incredible guest, Justin and Julie Hilogoss. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
And I am one of the hosts, Samantha Tripp. And
I'm Darcel Hunt-Feingold.
great.
Very nice.
So we've got lots of fun questions planned today for you guys.
Okay.
We're so excited to hear about who you are inside and outside of what you do. So can you just give us the spiel? Like, what do you guys do? Who are you outside of work? Who are you at work? What are you doing?
Okay. Where do we begin? Let's see. You want to get started?
You can start with the hop point.
Okay.
I'll start with the Pier 13.
Okay. So you want to know just a little bit about us and okay, so my name's Julie. I'm local. I've been born and raised here in our town of Titusville, and moved away a little bit for college and whatnot, but somehow made my way back. And I guess my first adventure for entrepreneurship was with a small resale boutique, and then that turned into then a boutique selling new clothes, and then met my husband here. And little did I know he was also an entrepreneur. So it was double the fun. And then we ventured out and started another business, actually like all in together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
My name's Justin. I also grew up here in Florida. I grew up in South Florida, and then we worked our way up here to Titusville. I graduated at Space Coast, and then I moved here to Titusville, met Julie. My original plan was to go to NASA. I really wanted to be an engineer. I did go to school, and I did get a co-op at NASA, but it was in Virginia. So I had to move to Virginia, I moved to Virginia.
Right after we had a baby.
Right after I was baby.
Oh, okay. Maybe
And,
not ideal.
No.
It was not ideal, but it's probably more fun for me than for her, because everybody had to stay here and I had to go up there to work.
Yeah.
But I thought I would like it a lot more, but I didn't like it as much as I thought, because it was very the people were great and the company's good, but it was an office job, so it's like 9 to 5, you're in the office all day. So it was a lot harder to raise a family when you're 800 miles apart. So I came back down here, and I figured I'll just wait until there's some positions open at Kennedy Space Center here, and in the meantime I'll just work at Hot Point with Julie. We just work together.
Yeah.
And for some reason I came up with the idea of, in the meantime, while we're running this company, I'll also maybe just start getting into the hobby of roasting coffee, because we like coffee, and so we figured we'll try it out. So we started doing that, and kind of typically turn into like a garage. We clear out the garage. We got some old coffee roasters. Actually, it was so funny because I could not afford coffee roaster back then, so we started with a popcorn maker, like those little ones you see, like the old school ones. And then we upgraded to ones that look like a microwave, except I couldn't afford those. So I called all these companies and I said, "You have any like in the back?" They're like, "Any broken?" And I actually did find a guy from this company called Baymore, and he's like, "Oh, hold on." And he's like, "Okay, I actually have two that are like, they were definitely broken, but I think we fixed them and we'll give them to you for like half price." So we got those, and then that's what we set up in the garage, and we just kind of practiced and messed around with that until we had the opportunity to get the place in downtown here in Titusville. There's a little 450 square foot area we got that we leased out,
Which was right next to the
boutique
that
Hot
we
Point.
had. Yeah.
And so that was our first brick and mortar. We opened that up in September of 2019. So, and we did not think it was going to be, I thought it was going to be like a hobby where, like, my original intent was, I'll sell coffee, like roasted coffee, like bags of coffee at the shop. Maybe we'll be open like 2 days, 3 days. And then, yeah, let's see how this is coming. So, and then I was like, and then I'll get a job at, because at this point in the space industry, we were in that in between of the the space shuttle program had just, closed down. There was no private companies out there yet besides like, the older Boeing, ULA. But for my skill set that I had, there was nothing. So there's no SpaceX or Blue Origin or anything like that. So we opened September 2019 and we got crushed. I mean, there were so many people that came. So then we knew we probably had a potential business. And now here we are. So,
That's the short
that's the
version.
short version. But yeah, so where we're at now is we still have that location in downtown. We have the expanded. We have the 4,000 square foot coffee shop there is still in construction, but hopefully it'll be done in a couple months. And in addition to that, we have the 2,500 square foot coffee roasting facility that will be done in a couple months, and hopefully we can expand from there. So
Love it. So it sounds like you guys really like free time, huh?
there's no free time. Well, the funny thing is too, when we opened up and we got fully involved, NASA actually did call me back. I said, I can't come back. And I was like, oh, it's too late.
Oh,
Chance.
no.
But I guess I could always come back.
But fun fact, yes, after all of that, right? Recently, which was awesome, and I think it was just confirmation that NASA reached out to us, the Kennedy Space Center, and they now carry our coffee in their gift shop.
And,
yeah.
and
So
we
that
have
was
not
neat.
disclosed that to anybody yet. So this
Yeah,
is a
have
podcast.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That.
But it has been official.
You shared that with you.
I'm so honored.
We get
Yeah.
too busy. We haven't
So
time to even share it. Yeah.
make it exclusive, I guess. Yeah. So we
Yeah.
have a contract with Delaware North that runs the visitor centers, and we're going to be in 5 of the gift shops. Which I'm surprised there's 5 gift shops there, but there are 5 gift shops there, and we're going to be in all 5.
I love
Or
that.
we are in all 5.
So that's exciting.
It's kind of cool, the synchronicity with the name too. Like I feel like it's like a piece of history in a way as well. Do you want to explain a little bit about the name Pier 13? We can edit it out later if we need to.
So when we had the boutique, we carried a lot of local merchandise, and we kind of did a lot of little tongue-in-cheek with some of the local jokes that people get. So when we made t-shirts, we would put things on there that we knew the locals would get it. If you were a tourist, you might not get it, but locals would come in and they would hold up the shirts, and you would see the smile on their face, and they would kind of laugh, and we all knew like what it was funny. And so a couple shirts we had made with Pier 13 on the shirt, and when locals would come in, you could see them start laughing. And the hidden inside joke is that Pier 13 is the nudist beach here. Yes. Most people are like, "There's a nudist beach."
We always say we do not go to that beach.
Yeah, we always made it very clear that we don't go there. It's, but Playa Linda Beach is where Pier 13 is located. It's the 13th pier, and we were spinning off with the coffee. The all natural part of that is kind of how we came up with it.
Yeah.
But we knew that locals would kind of get the joke, and so that's kind of
Yeah. Well, one of the
how it spun
cornerstones.
from that.
Yeah, and one of the cornerstones of the Pier 13 coffee is we don't buy from commercial farms. So we buy all our coffee from family farms. So it's all natural. So that was where the conversation went. And, there's a lot of companies around here that, use the space themes, which we didn't want to. It's not, we thought it may be overused. So we wanted to go for more of the, other parts of Titusville, besides space.
Yeah. But Pier 13 is located at Cape Canaveral National Seashore.
Which is
And the Space Center, it's connected to the Space Center.
Yeah,
So it really is like it's a little like full circle.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yes.
cool.
Yeah. That's true.
So it's funny. But yeah, we've gotten some slack for that. But that's okay.
The older church women.
I mean,
But that's a lot. Like there's like a NASA and then the nudist beach. All in one. I mean, this is
A lot.
seem like
A lot to take in.
they don't go together, but there they are.
Provide connection.
Yeah. So there you go.
There you go.
And then now they get the Pier 13 coffee there. And like, it all worked out.
Most people like it. They think it's funny. It feels funny.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious.
That's how we came up with that. Yes.
Yeah.
So as entrepreneurs, obviously you alluded to like the peaks and valleys of what it means to like be a business owner.
Yeah.
So what would you say is your biggest leadership fail and what you've learned from it or got out of it?
It's a great question. We've talked about this some, and for us, failure is such a, it's almost like it's lessons,
Mhm.
like I know the obvious thing is failure, but it's so many lessons you learn and like what doesn't go right that helps you get better or improve in that area. So gosh, yeah, I think any failure that we've had is just really only made us better and made us even double down more on, where we want to go with this, for
Yeah.
sure.
I don't think we have like one big failure I can think of. I'm sure we've made plenty of failures, on the way. I just think, it's a learning, it's like part of the learning curve. Just,
Mhm.
okay, well, this didn't work out. So now we know next time, let's do it a different way. I can't think of like one, particular huge failure, but,
More a lot of
small things
a lot
that
of
kind of go like,
lessons.
what to look for when we're hiring people,
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I can think of is in the early days, I had tried to take on a partnership, or what I thought it would kind of look like. This was before I met Justin, and that was a big lesson for me. Was you really have to be on the same page and have the same vision for where you want to go with it. So I learned some hard lessons with potential partnerships for sure. But I grew from that and don't think I'd be where we are today without some of those hard times.
Well, I think it's interesting you said what to look for in people you hire, because I'm assuming you're at the shop or Pier 13, not the actual one, your coffee shop
Yeah.
a lot. But I'm assuming there are moments when you're not there and you have to really rely on the people
Yes.
who are there. So what exactly do you think are you looking for so that you feel confident in, like the group you're leading to, take care of your baby, almost like
Right.
babysitting, right? Like
Yeah.
when you're going to go out as parents,
Yeah.
right?
For
Yeah.
sure. I always say something I always keep in mind is you're only as good as your team. There's only so much that Justin and I can do on our own together, but you're really only as good as your team. And so we look for those qualities during the hiring process for sure.
Yeah, especially like customer service, like how well they interact with people, how kind of teachable they are, because we can teach people how to make coffee. There's a lot of them that come and they're like, I don't know, I want to work for you, but I don't know how to make coffee. And that's not a hard challenge to overcome. It's the customer service. How well are you? How do you interact with people? Do you respect people when they come in? Do you treat customers with respect? Do you treat your co-workers with respect? Because you can't teach people that. You can't teach people how to, you can kind of, make improvements here and there, but if they're, inclined to not being good with customer service, they're probably not going to just become a great customer service person. So we try to figure that out before we even hire them. Are they going to do well? And of course, there's other jobs that may not involve customer service. So maybe instead of not hiring them, we can kind of direct them to non-customer service jobs. But at this time, pretty much all our jobs are customer service. So
Yeah.
it's just, if you don't have good customer service. Samantha knows me.
I do.
Same way. I mean, you can tell a lot, I feel like, by somebody, when they come in for interview. And
Yeah.
there's qualities that we're looking for. And I mean, most of the time we've kind of gone off our gut, really,
Yeah.
of how we feel that they'll fit into our team.
Yeah, and that's one of the probably early failures we did was, probably assuming, well, this person's really good at the coffee side. They're not too good with customer service, but we can teach them, and and it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, if there was a scenario where we had, another job where, you know, they could be behind the scenes, maybe we transfer them to that job. But at this point, there's no job like that in our company that exists. So, but that was probably, to speak to one of your failures, that was probably one of the small failures that we're like, okay, well, now we need to change this, where we need to put a lot more emphasis on customer service. Because when we're gone, you know, they can mess up the coffee a little bit, and that may not be a big deal, but if someone feels disrespected, or if they're not felt like they're treated right, everybody's gonna know about it. They're gonna post about it on Facebook. It's gonna be a big deal.
Surveys,
Surveys,
Google.
Yeah, being in a small town,
Reviews,
you know,
yeah.
and everybody knows everybody, and so, you know, we really try to handle that with a lot of delicacy.
Yeah, and we really do want everybody that comes in to have a good experience.
Yes.
Like, so that's one of the cornerstones of why we think we're so successful. Even though there are a lot of other coffee shops in this area, is the customer service. So we want to make sure that that's a priority for the employees as well.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are taking the lesson from like failure, you know.
For
We
sure.
talked about like it's not the failure that's the hard part. It's like what comes next. What do you do
Right,
with it?
yeah.
What lessons do you take away from it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I'd say every day I feel like we learn something new. It's not something that you just say, well, we made it, you know.
Yeah.
It's never like that. I
It's
feel
like,
like
what's next?
every day's a new lesson.
Yeah. What did we forget this week?
Yeah. So, and we've really had to trust our team, because this year in particular with the construction, our hands have been so tied as far as how much we can physically be
Yes.
at the shop, and so we've really had to trust our team to handle things, and all more so than ever. Yeah. So
Yeah, and we do have a really good team.
Yes.
They do well. There's very little management that we have to do, so that's always good. So we got lucky with that.
Yeah. So one characteristic of great leaders is authenticity. And from me knowing the two of you, I know how authentic you are, but how does it show up in how you lead your teams? And second question, is it something that you look for even in like the hiring process as well?
Yeah. For me, most definitely. I feel like discernment is one of my gifts, and I feel like I can kind of pick up on that right away sometimes. I mean, I've learned some tough ones, but for the most part, authenticity, I feel like it plays in everything we do. I can't think of a scenario where we don't have to be authentic, you know?
Yeah, I think people can pick up when other people are not being authentic too. It's like, as you get older, you can kind of pick that up. And yeah, I don't think we have any reason not to be authentic.
No.
You know.
Yeah. I feel like we try to show that in just about everything that we do.
Yeah, I think it's part of being a good leadership. You can't have good leadership and not be authentic. You know. So like, if we tell our employees we want you to do this, you know, like we want you to, you know, clean the bathrooms or clean it, we're going to do the same thing.
Right.
Like if I come on Sunday, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, that way they know it's not, you know, I'm not telling them to do anything that I
That we
wouldn't
wouldn't
do.
do ourselves.
And they see
for
it,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah.
they can see
Yeah.
it. So it's, you know, but I think that's just, I think you can't have it. I mean, I know there's probably companies that do it,
I
but
think
you know,
And how successful are they?
yeah.
I mean, just
probably a lot of
yeah,
turmoil in the back.
I think it all goes hand in hand. I don't think you can have one without the other.
I love it.
Yeah.
Leading by example.
Yeah.
So some people pair authenticity with vulnerability, and as like two business owners, you're not always going to have a good day, right? Like some days are going to be really crappy,
Yeah.
especially with, I know you guys have had some struggles with the building and all of the things going on. It's a lot to juggle. So how do you model vulnerability, like being real and being authentic with your team, but also having to lead the team? Like,
Right.
how do you balance that?
It's a very fine line, because you don't want to come across as I'm just this weak. You know, you kind of have to have some, I mean, what am I trying to say? You still have to display those leadership
Yeah.
qualities, but I think compassion falls into that category. You know, how I can be a good leader if I can't show compassion
Yeah.
for something. So I think of the times where we've had so many challenges, and some challenges have been so unspoken to where our team doesn't even know.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to just, you do have to kind of put that smile on your face, even though inside you might be feeling a different way. Not because you don't want to be real, but I think sometimes you just have to keep going. So that's hard. So, you know, especially our second, third year in business. Well, right when we opened, we hit COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, so you can only imagine the stress.
3 months in.
3 months in, and COVID happened.
We haven't had a regular quarter,
Yeah.
business quarter probably ever.
Right.
There's always been some kind of something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been
So
I think it's like you have to have those emotions, and you don't want to be a robot, and you don't want to go
Right.
in and look, you know. But at the same time, I don't think you want your emotions to dictate how you run your business. So like, I may be upset or frustrated one day, but I try hard not to make that influence the decisions I make. You know, so I'll go for a walk, go work out, do something to distract, you know, to get that off my mind before I make any decision. I'm not gonna make a decision when I'm frustrated.
yeah.
But yeah, if I'm frustrated but I'm around the employees, I may, you know, because they're gonna look for you. You know, you're supposed to be leading the company. They don't, if they see disorder and stuff in, you know, the leadership, it doesn't, you know, may not give them a good morale boost, you know. But I think it's like a fine line. You don't want to be a robot, but you don't want to be on the opposite side and just, you know, let every emotion control everything. Because in business, you can't make decisions based off emotions. You know, it's got to be, you know,
That's been a challenge. I feel like,
which is
since
hard. It's
we
easier
opened.
said
Yeah.
than done. But
Yeah.
So that reminds me of a question we thought of is, you know, there's like the persona, there's like the person you show up in the shop as, right?
Mhm.
Well, what do you we like wish your employees knew about what it meant to be like a leader of this empire, right? The entrepreneur, like that they may not understand when they're making coffee or at the register.
Me personally, I wish they knew how much we really cared, because sometimes you can't, you know, sometimes you come in and they have a problem and, you know, they start to share and like, I so badly want to start giving advice and like, I want to love on them, you know, for whatever struggle they're having. But again, it's like these lines sometimes you don't want to blur because you still have to play that leadership role. So,
well, there's always that perception that like the boss, he doesn't care.
right. Yeah.
They're, you know, they have all this money. They, you know,
Yeah. Huge
we don't have.
misconception.
I wish we had all that.
Yeah.
But you know, but we do care. We do want them to be successful. There's been a few of them that have left that we still talk to. Ivan, you know, there's like multiple that have left, but they still call and we still have a good relationship.
Right.
We had a gentleman who was barista with us for a long time. His name was Ivan. He moved up to Tallahassee to go to school, and we still talk on a regular basis. So, but there is, you know, it is hard because when they're gone, it's one thing, but when they're still employed with you, there is a line that there's a professional line you can't cross, but you still, you know, care for them as, you know, people. You think what Julie was trying to say is like, sometimes you want to help them, you know, they have like, you know, they're talking about like personal things and you're like, oh, I want to help, but you know, there's a line and you have to be professional and sometimes you can't, you know, do that, but we do care for them. We're not, you know.
Yeah. And we would love nothing more for them to grow with us. You know, sometimes like we get sad when one goes, we're like, no.
Yeah.
But you know, you have, it's a fine line. I can't be like, please come back. You know? But we really do care about our people. And and I think the other thing is there's a big misconception with entrepreneurship where they think we're just like rolling in the dough and this is just like a side hustle for us or something, you know, but we put our heart and soul into it. And I think they don't see that because they just see us coming and going and, you know, once they clock out, but they don't see all the other things that are happening throughout the day and how much we really put into it.
Yeah, that's one thing that I love about you guys is I think you are able to see strengths. So I've had a conversation with you before about, you're like, I want everyone to stay. But it's cool. You're like part of like growing. Like my goal to grow is that I want my team to grow too. Like I want to have like spaces for them. So I don't know who it was, but you were like, yeah, maybe in finance or accounting, or like you were already dreaming of places like where you could use their strengths, which I think is so incredible and like such a beautiful like story about how much you care, because you're thinking that way of like how you want to grow, help people grow, which I think is so cool.
feel like kind of that's the whole point, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I guess that touches based on their things. Like, we're not doing this just for ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, I know sometimes we're just a stepping stone because a lot of our employees are a little younger, and we might just be kind of a stepping stone as their path. But yeah, I would love nothing more for some of them to, you know, as we grow too, you know, maybe we can find a spot for you if you'd be willing to come back, and we can put you where you, what strength you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
And some of them have different, you know, even if they don't stay with us, we still try to encourage them and try to help them out with whatever path they want to, you know, if they, I mean, we've had some of them that have been employed with us that want to do nursing or, you know, finance, or some things can be applied to the business, like finance, you know, but sometimes they're just with us for a while, and then, but we're happy to, you know, help them out as best we can in their other career options as well. And it's nice because, like, I'm sure there's probably been some job you've had when you're younger where you're like, oh, the boss, you know, he or she was like really cool, and it really kind of, you know, helped you along your career path. So I think that's kind of what we want to give back to them as well.
Yeah.
You know.
I love it. I worked for Julie at City Glitter.
Yes. That was the OG days.
The OG days.
That's right. We had a lot of fun.
It was fun. I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved like checking people out, helping them find outfits. It was the best.
What was it? What do we build out where they can, the fashion show?
Oh yeah. Fashion show.
Yes.
The walkway.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'll have to show you the pictures.
Yeah,
Like
we've had some good times.
we walked that runway. I love
We
it.
could put old picture. We should start do like a collage of like the first clothing for like a 4,000 square foot coffee shop. This is how you get from here to here.
I call that the schooling days. That was the schooling. You know?
Yeah.
So much I learned in those early days.
I love it.
For
I love
sure.
it. Good.
Besides being, you know, friends with Samantha, I think another reason why she thought you'd be great for the podcast is because you are a husband and wife team who've owned multiple businesses together. I thought it was just the coffee shop. I didn't even know about the clothing store before then. So I guess, you know, how is it leading with your partner? Because you lead your household and then you leave a coffee shop. So, you know, sometimes like everyone, like, you know, you get to like separate and go to separate jobs for a little bit, but you know, kind of doing a lot together most of the day.
Forever. Point out. We should point out that we also had a salon.
Oh wow!
My
God, about that. I'm still trying to put that out of my.
It was like a side hustle. Doing a side entrepreneur on.
I mean, it made
from
sense
our
at the
main
time. It's her fault because I admired Samantha so much, and you know, and she was my hairstylist, and I just loved everything. You know, like so much talent, and she really helped me in that phase for sure. Yeah.
ETC.
ETC.
That's the name of it.
Like etc.
Yeah.
I just realized I've gotten to be a part of every single one of you guys'
That's right.
businesses
Oh my gosh.
in some way.
I just thought,
Yeah,
yes,
that's true.
that's right. You
Yeah.
know. Hey, we're still friends. Could you imagine that? You stuck around.
Oh, I
We
love
should have
it.
a podcast about all the business ideas that we didn't do.
Oh, that's good.
That's
Okay,
one.
good one.
That is, yeah. Being both similar in mind, we have a
Doesn't
lot
take
of
much.
ideas.
Does it?
And I know now he'll be like, you know what we should do? And I'm like,
No.
we should do nothing else. You know? I already know what he's gonna say. And we do. It's like you're constantly thinking of new ideas, new ways of doing something. Yeah, it's you can't turn it off, unfortunately. Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Well, to answer your question, we get along very well, so I think we don't have an issue working together. I know there's some people like, oh, don't work with your partner or whatever, but we've been doing it for probably almost 10 years, maybe. I think it's easy for us because we both have the same, we have the same skin in the game. We still have to, so
Yeah, same work ethic, you know.
same work ethic, same goals, and we it's been very easy for us to work. I mean, I'm sure there's been times where it's hard working with me. Yeah.
He's right about everything.
I knew that's coming out. That's why I started laughing, because it's coming.
No, but in all seriousness, I think we both just have our different gifts, and I think we both learn.
We have different
we
skill
both
sets.
appreciate our different skill sets, and I feel like in areas where I'm weak, it's like a true partnership. In areas where I'm weak, he's very strong, and vice versa. So I just feel like it works for us, and we really trust each other. So decision making's, even though it might be challenging, but I think it's kind of easy because we both trust each other's judgment.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what do you do if you guys get frustrated with each other?
We go with my decision.
Really?
It's so crazy because I honestly can't think of too many times where we've been super frustrated with each other.
I think just learning how to compromise, and if there's two decisions we just have to make, because if we don't make a decision, it's going to hurt us anyway. So we have to make a decision.
Right.
And I think we've been doing it long enough. I'm sure in the beginning there's probably some struggles and trying to find our way, but it's a lot easier now just because we've been doing it for so long. We just kind of have a groove we're in, which is nice.
Yeah.
But it will be nice when the business is a little bit more developed. We don't have to make every single decision.
Yeah, some days we're decisioned out. I'm like, you just decide.
Yeah.
I'm tired of making decisions.
It's true, because all the decisions right
Someone's
now,
got to make one. Just pull the trigger
Yeah.
on something. Yeah.
can't wait until we can delegate.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. That's something we got to start working on here soon. Yeah.
So we have our last question, and kind of fits with the theme of the podcast.
Okay.
So what makes you an unregulated leader?
I think because I saw that question, I was like thinking, we were even talking about it in the car, like right before we pulled up. I think you almost have to be unregulated if you're an entrepreneur, because you're not going to be doing anything traditional by any means. You're not, we're technically on paper, we're the CEO, COO, whatever, you're president, vice president of whatever, on paper, but we don't really fulfill like the roles of, that we do that plus all the other roles as well, like janitor, like warehouse manager. So I think just by definition, it's, being an entrepreneur, at least in the start where we're at, the base level, you almost have to be unregulated. There's nothing that we do that I would say is normal by any means. Like, so it's like we're making like, for example, like, we're making major decisions, that could potentially cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars one day, or no, 1 minute, and then 15 minutes later we're like, well, we gotta go get paper towels. I mean, what other CEO, president, it's like what other, president or vice president or CEO or whatever you want to call it of a company is doing those types of things. So I think that's how I interpreted the question. It's like, I think, just being an entrepreneur at a base level is probably the definition of being unregulated.
Yeah, definitely. Just you saying that word now, I'm like, that makes so much sense. That's what it is. I'm like, no one's ever used that. I feel like I don't hear that term, but I'm like, wow, that's really what it is. And I wish that, I guess that kind of goes back to your other question. I wish more people knew that, because I think it's so not what people think it is. But unregulated, and it makes sense too, because I've never done anything conventional, and so it kind of gives me peace, because I used to wonder, what's wrong with me? How come I don't follow suit to what this person's doing, or how come I chose this route, or how come I'm thinking about this? How come someone's teaching a lesson and I'm sitting there like drawing out like what a store window should look like, or just all the things like kind of add up now, and I'm like, oh, that's what it was. I wish somebody had told me that. So definitely it's an unregulated mindset for sure.
I know we said we only had one more question, but I have one burning question that I want to ask you both. What do you like to do on a sunny Saturday afternoon? Like when you're off, you're not working.
Well, Well, we do work on Saturdays. So,
Okay.
but,
A sunny day you
yeah,
have
but
off.
in the scenario where we did not work on Saturday,
Right.
we probably hang out with our kids, which we don't get as much time as with our kids as we would probably like. And now our kids are getting older. We have Benjamin, who's 8, but
Two teenagers.
who,
Yeah.
So just nothing crazy. Just hanging out with kids,
Resting.
Like for us, it's
I was gonna lie and say we go skydiving.
You go to Pier
parasailing,
13.
Yeah.
You say
You're
you're
cool
going.
more people over here. Yeah.
No, taking the kids out to dinner, just doing something fun with them where we can kind of turn things off and give them our undivided attention is usually what we're doing on a Saturday night or Sunday to church and getting the house back in order so we can start the week again. Yeah, I wish I could tell you something more exciting. But yeah, I think for us it brings us joy to work hard and then be able to bless our kids with what we work hard with. That's
Yeah.
probably our greatest
I love that.
Yeah.
adventure.
Then we go to the club.
I can't even imagine.
They wouldn't even let us in.
They went, no.
We wouldn't even.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, thank you guys for being on the podcast.
No problem.
This was such a blast. Oh my gosh, such a great
Oh,
time.
we didn't scare y'all.
Absolutely not.
Not at all. It was the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.